Welcome back, listeners, to episode 20 of our World Cup 2026 series. The round of 16 is officially in the books, and let me tell you, the sheer emotion of these past few days is exactly why we call it the beautiful game. I'm Arthur, and joining me to sift through the heartbreak and the heroics is the brilliant mind who keeps me anchored to the modern game, my daughter Nora.
Thanks, Dad. The 48-team format has given us an unprecedented volume of data to digest, and this knockout phase is where the noise fades and the true tactical frameworks shine. We've got massive upsets, expected goals defying reality, and quite a few narratives completely flipping on their heads. Let's dive straight into the match reviews.
We absolutely have to start with Argentina and Egypt. I watched those extended highlights 3 times today. You had Messi, in tears, staring down elimination, and then cometh the hour, cometh the man. That wonder strike to level it, followed by Fernandez heading in the stoppage-time winner. It was a heartbreaker for Egypt, but there really is no substitute for experience. The tension in that stadium was palpable.
It was dramatic, but looking at the numbers, Egypt has every right to feel aggrieved. Their XG, or expected goals, was actually incredibly healthy throughout the match. Zico was absolutely ripping into the referees afterward, saying they wasted all of Egypt's efforts. But Argentina capitalized on their expected goals on target. They were clinical when the window opened.
Clinical is not a word they are using back in Brazil right now. Their defeat by Norway sent shockwaves around the world. The headlines back home are absolutely brutal, literally calling them losers. It takes a lot to dismantle a team with that much flair, but Norway simply froze them out.
Norway's defensive shape was a masterclass in modern analytics. Their tackles and interceptions per 90 metrics went through the roof. They essentially locked down the central channels and forced Brazil to cross from low-percentage areas. Brazil racked up high possession, but their big chances created were historically low for a knockout game.
It reminds me of the classic gritty performances of the 90s, just pure disciplined willpower. Speaking of willpower, we saw the United States bow out against Belgium. Alexander Abnos wrote a devastating piece this morning saying the U.S. wasted the biggest opportunity in the history of American soccer, and it's hard to disagree. Even though Belgium won, they suffered a massive blow with Amadou Onana out for the remainder of the tournament with a torn ACL.
The loss of Onana will absolutely crash Belgium's midfield metrics in the upcoming rounds. As for the U.S., the off-pitch chaos bled onto the field. FIFA suspended 2 U.S. staff members for that game, and tactically, it showed. Their XG plus expected assists per 90 plummeted, and they looked disjointed in transitions.
I was actually quite surprised by Rudy Garcia's choice to leave De Bruyne and Doku and Lukaku on the bench. Yet he proved to be right with the Ketelaere scoring a brace.
Well, Pochettino's men had a complete off day. Trump's phone call did not have any effect since Bellingham did not touch a single ball. It did not matter anyway since Reece and his defense were giving away easy goals.
Indeed. But let's turn to the Iberian derby, Portugal against Spain. Spain advances, but not without some internal friction. Seeing Rodri and Bernardo Silva, longtime teammates at Manchester City, get into a spat on the pitch shows just how high the stakes are. And of course, the emotional weight of it being Cristiano Ronaldo's final World Cup match.
Spain won the midfield battle comprehensively. Their passing networks completely suffocated Portugal's outlets. While Ronaldo's departure is the headline, Spain's ability to limit Portugal's shots on target per 90 to almost 0 was the actual story of the 90 minutes.
Canada's journey also came to an end against Morocco. Ounahi and Rahimi put the game to bed, but you have to step back and appreciate the special moments the World Cup brought to Canada. They really left their mark on the tournament.
Canada did overperform their underlying metrics for the tournament, which is commendable. But Morocco's attacking duo was just too sharp. If you look at Ounahi and Rahimi on the goals and assist charts, their output per 90 has been elite. They punished every structural mistake Canada made.
Over in Mexico, England delivered what David Squires called an absolute classic. Jude Bellingham is living in a world bigger than most of us can understand right now. Meanwhile, France managed to scrape past Paraguay in a very tense, tightly contested fixture.
Bellingham's expected goals and big chances created are leading the tournament for midfielders. As for France, it wasn't pretty. The unsportsmanlike conduct from Paraguay was just terrible, a display unworthy of professional athletes. France are rightfully through. A victory for football, a defeat for Paraguay.
I fully agree, and regardless of the actual result, how a team presents itself matters as well. I am, of course, referring to Cabo Verde's fantastic run. They went home with the appreciation of basically anyone who saw their passion. But I want to pivot to the Switzerland versus Colombia match. That was a tactical, fascinating encounter. Fascinating and absolutely agonizing. It went all the way to penalties. Campaz had that unbelievable opportunity to win it for Colombia in extra time, but he drilled the shot right over the net. It was pure heartbreak.
Let's dig into Switzerland for our team focus today. Their progression is a triumph of structured analytics. Even with Manzambi out injured against Colombia, they adapted perfectly. If you look at their expected goals on target variant, they don't take a high volume of shots, but the ones they do take are incredibly high yield. They draw teams into a mid-block, force turnovers, and transition fast.
I love watching this Swiss team. They don't have the historic flair of a Brazil or an Argentina, but they have this undeniable grit. You saw it in the penalty shootout. Kobel made that sharp, unbelievable save on Puerta, and Vargas was immense too, denying Reeder and Ndoye earlier on. They just refused to break, Nora.
Actually, you can map defensive resilience by looking at big chances missed by the opposition, which usually points to exceptional goalkeeping. Vargas was statistically the most valuable player of that match based on post-shot expected goals. But let's shift focus. Dad, you touched on it earlier, but I know you want to talk about the man who just bowed out.
I do. We have to take a moment for Cristiano Ronaldo. That match against Spain was probably his last World Cup appearance. He is an absolute legend of the game. I still remember the sheer aura he brought onto the pitch, standing over those free kicks, the absolute belief that he could bend the match to his will. Watching him walk off the pitch for the final time on this stage, it feels like the closing of a massive, magnificent chapter in football history.
It really is. From an analytical perspective, Ronaldo completely redefined the volume shooting forward role. The amount of goals per 90 he maintained across 2 decades is a statistical anomaly. He essentially broke the historical models for longevity and output in the final third. It's hard to imagine the data sets without his constant presence at the top of the charts.
Well said. The game will miss him. But the tournament marches on, and there's plenty happening off the pitch too, right? What are you seeing out there in the digital ether?
It's been a busy week online. Aside from the Bellingham station renaming going viral, there's a huge trending discussion right now about the evolution of the World Cup ball. The aerodynamics of this year's ball are causing absolute chaos for goalkeepers on long-range shots. Also, the localized fan atmospheres have been incredible, especially the footage coming out of Vancouver. The way the immigrant communities are bonding over these matches is dominating the social media feeds. It's a beautiful intersection of global culture and local pride.
You know, I remember when the World Cup balls felt like they were made of solid lead if it rained. Seeing the evolution is fascinating, but the soul of it, fans gathering in a city like Vancouver, celebrating together, that never changes. That is the very essence of the World Cup.
Exactly. And we have some massive quarterfinal clashes to look forward to that will test both the analytics and the soul of these teams.
We certainly do. The upcoming slate is mouthwatering. Morocco taking on France, Belgium facing Spain, England going up against the giant killers Norway, and Argentina clashing with your tactical favorites, Switzerland.
For me, England versus Norway is the most intriguing. You have Bellingham's elite chance creation going up against a Norwegian defensive block that just neutralized Brazil. It is the ultimate clash of tactical systems.
And I can't wait to see if Messi can keep his fairy tale alive against that stubborn Swiss defense. It's going to be a phenomenal weekend of football. Thank you all for joining us on this round of 16 wrap-up. The drama is only going to heighten from here.
We'll be back right after the quarterfinals to break down every metric, every moment, and every surprise. Until then, keep an eye on the numbers and enjoy the matches.